There's only one episode of Survivor Season 44 remaining, and there are 5 castaways set to duke it out in the finale. After a dramatic episode that saw Jamie Lynn Ruiz be voted out in 6th place, a strong group of contestants remains in contention for the $1 million prize. They include Carolyn Weiger, Carson Garrett, Heidi Lagares Greenblatt, Lauren Harp, and Yam Yam Aroko. The trio of Carolyn, Carson, and Yam Yam have dominated the post-merge game. All come from the Tika tribe. Survivor 44's Three Stooges alliance has managed to make it all the way to the finale, despite being clear threats from early after the merge. Lauren and Heidi have had a less successful run in the game, and now they face the challenge of going against the Tika 3 in the finale. Only one player can win, though, and some members of the Final 5 have a better chance at the title of sole survivor than others. 5. Lauren Harp. Lauren, an elementary school teacher from Mont Belvieu, Texas, had a very quiet start to the game. She was barely present on the episodes in the pre-merge, but in the latter half of the game, she's emerged as an immunity threat. With 2 individual immunity wins, she has proven herself to be a strong physical competitor. Unfortunately, Lauren seems to be in trouble heading into the finale. She and her fellow Ratu member Jamie failed to capitalize on the opportunity to get one of the Tika 3 out of the game at the final 7 vote, instead voting against Heidi. Now that Jaime's out of the game, Lauren has no allies left. With all 3 Tikas still in contention, at least one of them is guaranteed to make it to the final 3, and it's hard to imagine a scenario in which Lauren can beat any of them in a jury vote. 4. Heidi Lagares Greenblatt. Similar to Lauren, Heidi, an engineering manager from Pittsburgh, doesn't have a very strong chance to win Survivor 44. She also had a quiet run to begin the game, and although she's been a more visible player after the merge, she hasn't set herself up to be in a position to win against the Tika 3. She and her fellow Soka member Danny Massa made an attempt to eliminate Carson from the game. However, even if Carolyn hadn't played her idol on him, Heidi and Danny didn't have Jamie and Lauren on their side. Therefore, they were unable to split up the Tika alliance. Heidi had another opportunity to make a last-ditch attempt to eliminate a Tika at the final 6 vote, but she didn't vote with Jamie and Lauren to force a tie and rock draw. Instead, she opted for the safe move of playing her idol and voting with Tika to eliminate Jamie. The move was probably fatal for Heidi's game, as she would face a major uphill battle against any Tika member in the jury vote. It seems that Lauren and Heidi will lose the game. That's because the Soka and Ratu groups allowed Tika to play the middle until it was too late. 3. Carson Garrett. The Tika 3 all have very strong chances of winning the game, but Carolyn and Yam Yam may have a slight edge over NASA engineering student Carson. Though he's played an extremely smart game so far, Carson may struggle to successfully argue his case to the jury, while sitting next to the larger-than-life personalities of Carolyn and Yam Yam. However, if he decides to go against the Tika 3, and somehow makes it to the end with Lauren and Heidi, he'd have a very strong chance at the win. Ultimately, it seems that one of the Tika players will win the game, but which individual pulls it off depends on a number of factors, including the Final 4 fire-making challenge. From a storytelling perspective, it seems that the show has been setting up for Carson's game to be impacted by the fire-making component. That's due to the amount of lingering shots of the campfire being reflected in Carson's glasses. It may be misdirection, but there's a chance the show could be foreshadowing a Carson loss at Final Four. 2. Carolyn Weiger, one of the biggest personalities to ever compete on Survivor. Minnesota native and drug counselor Carolyn has a very strong chance of pulling out the win. She's been underestimated by her competitors throughout the season, but has emerged as a major threat following her idol play for Carson at the Final 7 Tribal Council. Although it was technically unnecessary, the move displayed to the jury that Carolyn has been much more strategic than her eccentric personality has indicated so far. The move, coupled with her ability to articulate her journey, could give Carolyn a strong chance at receiving jury votes in the end. Carolyn's biggest challenge will be Yam Yam, who considered turning on Carolyn because of her newly established status as an endgame threat. Carolyn may face more subterfuge from Yam Yam, and she could struggle to fully convince the jury that she's a better player than they originally considered her to be. If she's at the end with Yam Yam or Carson, it's very possible that she loses to one of them, but she may be able to eke out a win if she can use her unique sensibilities to move the needle in her direction. 1. Yam Yam Arroco. Yam Yam is one of the most entertaining Survivor players ever, and the salon owner from San Juan, Puerto Rico also has a very strong likelihood of being Season 44's winner. With an unmatched level of charisma and charm, Yam Yam's social game has been incredible to watch. He's also played a brilliant strategic game, as he was a major factor in the success of the Tika 3 alliance. Yam Yam has constantly emphasized his Godfather-like approach to voting out anyone who writes his name down, and he's successfully achieved that goal so far. If he's able to make it to the Final 3, and use that soundbite in his pitch to the jury, it's hard to imagine a scenario in which Yam Yam doesn't emerge as the season's victor. It would be an extremely satisfying conclusion to the season, and Yam Yam would make for a deserving Survivor winner.
나